Kamaru Usman says he's had discussions with the UFC about potentially fighting Islam Makhachev next, but claims Hunter Campbell preferred to go in a different direction. Usman added that he's been offered other bouts, including one against Dricus du Plessis, but insists he's only interested in taking quote-unquote meaningful fights at this stage of his career.
The Islam fight was obviously what I wanted and what I felt would have been great, not just for me, not just for Islam, but would have been great for the company, would have been great for the world to see that. And for some reason, we've had conversations, but Hunter Campbell feels differently, and Hunter Campbell is like, maybe not. He wants to go a different rate. We don't know yet. They haven't come out and said, okay, Islam is going to get this guy or Islam is going with me. But it's been a tumultuous back and forth with getting that done. And then the other things were presented to me, like potentially DDP was presented to me, or other guys. And listen, Henry, there's one thing about me, and when they call and they say this guy or that guy or this guy, I don't go, maybe. No, I say yes.
So you're talking about a possible potential move to 185 pounds because DDP ain't no welterweight. Is that what I'm hearing?
But potentially. But this is the thing with me is it has to be meaningful. At this point, it has to be meaningful. I'm not just here to fight the fight. It has to be meaningful. If it gets me to the title that I want, that's what I want.
Michael Bisping and Luke Rockhold roast each other at the Jackson gym. Bisping trolls Luke over knocking him out to win the middleweight title back in 2016, and Luke fired back by mocking Bisping's vision in one eye.
I see them working together like this, but this is what we're doing here. This is what we're doing here.
2016 is a long time ago.
Hey. So you guys have been doing a lot of cage
14-2, don't forget about 14. Hey, no, it's not just 16, and 14 was good.
This is how it ended, though.
Oh my God.
He who laughs longest. I'm loudest.
You heard me, man. So you guys have been doing a lot of
I laugh with two eyes.
But I knocked you out with one. Imagine what I would have done with two eyes. Holy
Robert Whittaker says he's worried for Charles Oliveira ahead of his fight against Max Holloway at UFC 326. He thinks it may end up being a bad night for Oliveira. Speaking to Submission Radio, Rob said, "I still don't really understand what the BMF is, what that means. I don't think anyone really does, but Max is definitely the BMF. I don't think you can lose that title. You can't be up 5 rounds and then point to the center of the octagon. You don't lose the BMF no matter what, because nobody else does that. Nobody else can because they don't have the cojones. I worry for Oliveira. I love him like everyone else does, but Max is the better striker. He's going to go in there and pow, pow, pow. Oliveira is going to get hurt, man. He gets hurt in a lot of fights." Daniel Cormier believes Ilia Topuria, Alex Pereira, and Khamzat Chimaev all have the ability to compete for 3 titles in 3 different weight classes.
Ilia has the ability to fight for 3 belts. I think Pereira has the ability to fight for 3 belts. And I think Chimaev has the ability to compete in 3 weight classes at a very high level. He didn't fight for the belt at 170. But he's a champ at 85, and I do believe that if he goes 205, with the state of the division and the people fighting there, he could be a real problem for guys in that weight class. Man, it's an exciting time, especially if you're Team Chimaev, because this dude right now, he seems to have the world at his fingertips. And it doesn't seem like he's a guy that's going to take that for granted, but we'll see.
Caio Borralho is set to face Reiner de Ritter at UFC 326. Ahead of the fight, Caio isn't buying into the narrative that RDR is a quitter. In his last fight, RDR was unable to leave his corner for the final round against Brendan Allen, which led some fans to question his toughness. Caio, however, disagrees with that criticism. Speaking to MMA Junkie, he said, "I'm expecting the best Reiner de Ritter that the world has ever seen. He took the time off that he needed to, but besides that, he's coming to prove something to the world, and something to him, that he's not a quitter. And these kind of things have a lot of power inside. So I think he'll come very good for this fight, very well prepared. And that's what I need. That's what I want, to beat the best guys in their best versions. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think he's going to come in the best shape of his life. The best Reiner de Ritter people ever saw. And this win even bigger and better." Alexander Volkanovski recently defended his featherweight title, defeating Diego Lopez by unanimous decision at UFC 325. Volk says he was actually considering retirement if the fight had not gone his way.
If I took a heap of damage in this fight, maybe I would have. Maybe I would have lay down the gloves, you know what I mean? Like, because again, I am taking that into consideration, you know? I'm trying to wait. Like, now I'm in a pretty good position. I did get a new contract as well, which was great.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Here's what I was like, look at that. Oh, I'm starting to see the Paramount numbers. Okay, here we go now.
So like I was, able to do that. So that, that's great. And I'm having every fight. Obviously, that's the thing, right? You're never going to make money like you do when you're fighting. So obviously, you could say that I'm pretty set. Outside of fighting, we're doing pretty good with what we're doing. We've got a lot of great opportunities there. But I'm just like, man, while I'm alive and willing, I got to go get these paychecks.
Islam Makhachev was hanging out with animal influencer The Real Tarzan last night and asked him for a crocodile for his farm in Dagestan.
Yeah, tiger.
From tiger?
Yeah, real tiger. Sumatra, Indonesia. I bring you one. Crocodile, tiger, something.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Easy.
One crocodile for my farm.
Yeah, easy. You want? Shoot the real one.
Real one, bro.
Yeah.
But how much meat do you want?
A lot. You gotta feed them some sheep or horse meat.
I have 1,000 sheep.
1,000 sheep? Oh, easy food.
For 1 month?
Yeah.
Terence Crawford appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience this week. He spoke about fighter pay in combat sports and shared his belief that athletes don't fully realize the level of power they actually have. Crawford says if fighters truly came together, they could change the game completely.
These combat sports, it got to come from the fighters. Just like boxing, I think if the fighters come together, they can make anything happen. The fighters don't understand the level of power that they carry because they think, oh, since they cutting the check, they got the power.
Right.
But they can't cut the check without us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the fighters that need the money that makes it hard.
Right.
Because the fighters that already got the money, they can make a stand for something. But the fighters that doesn't, they like, well, you can do that. I got to provide for my family. You can take a chance of going at the organization for a year or however long it's going to last, but who going to pay my bills?
Right.
Who going to put food on my family table while we doing this, while we making this stand? So it's a little tougher for them to make that stand than a person that's already established.
Yes.
And I think that's where, the seesaw effect happens with boxing and UFC.
Eric Nicksick discusses Sean Strickland potentially challenging Khamzat Chimaev for the middleweight title next. He believes Sean deserves the shot after his TKO win over Anthony Hernandez and welcomes the opportunity of solving the puzzle of Khamzat and neutralize his biggest strengths. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Nicksick said it's obviously up to the promotion, but we did our job in the way we were supposed to, and we got style points by getting the finish and beating a guy like Fluffy, who's on a tear, right? I think that's kind of like, oh well, Sean did his job, but he also finished a guy that hasn't been finished in the last, I don't know how long. 8 fights, right? I think that's the way to go. But again, that's going to be up to the promotion and what they decide on. I think Khamzat's gotten better over the past few years himself as well. I think he's addressing those, let's say, cardio issues or his pit stops and energy management, so we're going to have our work cut out for us, man. That's the best part about this game, is trying to put together a game plan that can go beat arguably one of the best fighters on the planet right now in Khamzat Chimaev, and coming up with a game plan to nullify some of his best assets. So that's the chess game. I love those types of challenges. Mario Bautista believes body shots could be the Achilles heel of Merab Dvalishvili. With Petr Yan out and recovering from back surgery, Bautista says he'd gladly step in to fight Merab for an interim title.
I think that'd be pretty sweet, an interim belt. And Merab deserves it too. He's been pretty active even when he was the champ. And then you could set something else, set up a title fight. Whenever Yan comes back.
I've asked you about you and Sandhagen already, so I'll skip that. And you've been talking about it tons, but you and Merab, I've also asked you about that potential fight too, but not in a while. You both have progressed since then, had some wins, had some losses. So if you and Merab is next, what does that fight look like in 2026?
Man, I would love that fight. I think just fighting, having that Umar fight, I feel like I have like a good game plan and a good feel, like what a great grappler in the division feels like. So I could definitely adjust my camp. I feel good. I have some nice knees up the middle, you know, and I think Merab has shown some, like, I think his Achilles heel is like the body shots. So I think there's something going on. You can't have it all in this game, right? You can't be, you know, have the best cardio, this and that, great grappler, and then you get hit with a body shot and you do one of like these and you make it so known.
He gives the face. He's like, oh.
Yeah, he shows it hard. So, you know, I think it'd be a great fight. You know, Merab's he's been a great champion, former champion, but I think there's some holes in the game, and I think I'd come in with a great game plan and really show out.
Chito Vera is set to face David Martinez this weekend at UFC Mexico. In an interview with Paramount, Chito says he's prepared to meet Martinez in the center of the octagon and throw down.
Having seen some tape of David Martinez, he's of course coming off that victory over Rob Font, a battle-tested veteran who you defeated a few years back. Are you impressed with what Martinez brings to the table? Do you believe he's on your level entering this fight?
I mean, if we are in different levels, we'll find out Saturday night for sure. I guarantee you that. But I mean, he's a good fighter. He fights hard. He's strong. He's quick. So I mean, I like to keep it simple on what I say about them. Right? I don't want to like oversay it or undersay it, but the one thing that I know is that like I'm gonna push the pace, and I'm willing to go down this time in terms of like putting a hard fight. You know, just meet each other in the middle, and you know the harder man came winning, right? So we'll see.
Quick pause before we keep going. If you're watching Full Mount MMA, you're already locked into MMA news. But if you're betting on fights and still guessing, you don't need to. Homa Fight Picks is doing the work most people won't. Hours of tape study, match breakdowns, and line shopping for every single card. The Homa Fight Picks Discord went up over 130 units in 2025 alone, with a 3-year proven track record of profits. This isn't parlays for clicks, it's disciplined betting. They're letting Full Mount viewers check out the Discord for free this weekend. Just use the link in the bio to join the best betting Discord in combat sports for free. If you're already watching MMA every week, you might as well be betting it the smart way. Alright, back to the news. Raja Jackson has remained largely silent since being charged with felony battery, following his attack on wrestler Psycho Stu in August. However, during his live stream today, Rampage called Raja and revealed that he has been unbanned from Kick and plans to begin streaming again.
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
You heard the news?
Yeah.
You got unbanned.
I know. Let's go.
Hey, don't up no more. All right. We don't want. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to like keep getting banned on. Yeah. Bro, come on. I've been streaming for like 10 months. I ain't got banned yet. What the man, come on.
I know.
All right, son. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. You want to stream tomorrow?
Yeah, whenever, yeah.
All right, let's stream something tomorrow then.
Okay, I appreciate you, Bob.
I appreciate you too. We probably gotta cut your chat off though, because some, you know, I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah, I don't care what they say. I really don't. I get what they say.
All right.
Last week, it was reported that there was a 90% chance Ilia Topuria would be fighting Justin Gaethje on the White House card. However, today, it looks like those odds have decreased. The fight has not been officially signed, and several geopolitical and economic factors are reportedly complicating efforts to hold the event at the White House. Alvaro Colmenero said, "I'm not sure if Trump's advisors would feel comfortable with putting a Hispanic Georgian fighter in the main event, in a scenario where there's a very high probability that the American star ends up getting knocked out. It's also about advising and structuring things in the most positive way for the American interests." So if the UFC doesn't go with Ilia versus Justin, who do you think will end up headlining the White House card? Post your opinions in the comments. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Badman Inc. 84. It says, "Josh Van not knowing that Mighty Mouse was in the UFC is mind-blowing." The second one's in reference to the new Ronda Rousey training footage. It's from Batcave OZ. It says Ronda is still sitting on the center line, waiting to get hit. Head movement. And the final one's from John Herb's Bro Science. It says Ronda Rousey's biggest fan is Ronda Rousey. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.